back with the In Between the Lines podcast. I'm Jake, back with Jeff. What's been up, man?
What's going on? What's going on, man? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. Darn work and traveling, messes with us.
Yeah. But it's all good, man. That's what we here for. We gotta catch up, man, and get right into it, man. It's a lot going on, especially in the NFL with these playoffs, coaches getting fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a lot going on right now. You guys got your first game coming up this weekend against Washington.
Mhm.
Woo-wee!
You know what?
Man.
I hate to say, I hate to say I'd rather have this team over that team, anything like that, but I was hoping for Washington, even though I've been saying for weeks that Washington's a little bit scary, but I just feel like we match up with them better than we do Tampa Bay. Um,
Mm.
I've been looking at the games, and I've been watching Washington because I like Jaden Daniels a lot. I think he's the real deal. But I mean, they're winning close games. I mean, they're not like blowing teams out. So, like I said, I think we match up pretty well against them. Lions have traditionally struggled with a quarterback that can kind of run a little bit. Although I don't think he necessarily looks to run first. So, but he can run. But everybody struggles with that a little bit. But I'm excited about it.
It should be a lot of fun to watch, man.
Hmm.
Honestly, if y'all didn't have so many doggone injuries, man, I don't think this will be a close game, honestly. But I don't know if I ever remember a team having as many injuries as the Lions does and still succeeding the way they are.
Yeah. I mean, they've had 22 people on injured reserve this year. That is absolutely insane. And I posted a video about it a couple days ago. I don't see how Dan Campbell's not like easily the favorite to win the coach of the
Coach of
year.
the year,
Like I said,
absolutely.
I mean, I kind of brought it up that, yeah, they were expected to win the NFC. That's fine. They were expected to do that. But with that, there's still expectations. I mean, expectations are hard to meet when you're that team that everybody's coming at. But then when you throw in the fact that they've lost that many players and still managed to win games, still managed to go number one seed, still managed to get 15 wins. To me, that's just an absolute phenomenal coaching job, and I
Yeah.
mean, that tells me that his players buy into everything that he's telling them. And like I said, to me, biased fan, but how could you pick somebody over him right now?
Yeah, I definitely go Dan Campbell. I mean, it's either him or Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was funny because they've been talking about the Vikings coach, which before last week's game, like I said, I understood that too because as I had said in the last video, I don't think anybody picked Minnesota to be that good except you. You earlier in the season said that they were going to be your surprise team and they were going to be good, but nope, I don't even think you expected them to win 14 games, did you?
Nah, not that many. I was thinking around of, the long lines of 11,
Yeah,
10, 11 games. But yeah, I did pick them to be pretty good,
you did.
but I didn't expect them to lay an egg the way they did at the end of the season. Even against you guys, I expected them to play you guys a lot better. And then it was the same result against the Rams. I mean, they just completely fell apart those last two games.
Did they score a touchdown against the Rams? I don't think they did they?
No,
And so that's their last two games of the season. They don't score a touchdown. That's tough.
something. Yeah, man.
That's tough.
That's
Somebody
I mean,
somebody said that Darnold probably cost himself over $100 million in these last two games because they
hmm
said he was looking at 150, maybe a $200 million contract how he had played, and then he went back to old Sam Darnold in these last two important games, and they said that probably cost him a ton of money.
dog and pony show
Yeah.
all season long. And they got talent, man. So this should be McCarthy's team next year.
Yeah. Like I said, because I don't know what they're going to do with Darnold. I mean, I don't think they're going to pay him a ton of money to stay now.
I wouldn't be so quick to get rid of him, though. I mean,
I wouldn't either. It's just going to kind of be what is he going to demand, and what are they going to be willing to offer him? And there's going to be some stupid team out there that will offer him a lot of money. So yeah, I don't know. I
Hey
don't
man,
know.
if Deshaun Watson can get $1 billion, Darnold can get
Is that not the worst trade in NFL history? I
yeah.
was looking at that the other day. So the Browns traded a first and a third pick, a first and a fourth pick, and another first and a third pick. So 3 first-round picks, 2 third-round picks, and a
And then they
fourth round
paid
pick.
him 300 million, was it?
It was 250 fully guaranteed, and in exchange, I think they got a 6th-round pick. That's got to be the worst trade in history.
It's up. Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I know Sam, he can get a 20-30 million dollar contract, even with those 2 games that he lost.
Yeah, somebody's going to pay him. It's just will Minnesota pay him? And I don't know that they will. I guess it depends on how injured JJ McCarthy actually is, and do they believe in him? I mean, I think he's going to be an all right quarterback, but I mean, he's still a rookie coming off an injury too. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call. That is an absolute tough call. Were there any other games that surprised you this weekend?
Let me see. Of course, Minnesota and the Rams. Um, no, Buffalo did what they were supposed to do, I believe. Philly took care of business. Who am I missing? You know what? I thought Tampa Bay
Baltimore.
had that game. Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, they did what they were supposed to do. I thought Tampa Bay was going to beat Washington. Actually, I had picked them. Even in the post that you made on Facebook, I said Tampa.
Yeah,
So it really could have went either way at the end there, but
yeah,
it
yeah.
was just Baker made his mistakes. That fumble, I was like, oh, man, yeah, you can't do that kind of stuff in the playoffs, man.
Turnovers in the playoffs are so impactful. Any turnover at all is so impactful in the game. So,
Yeah. So I think everybody it wasn't any upsets. So
well, I thought the who did Houston play? Houston surprised me.
the Chargers, yeah. I thought the Chargers was going to play better than that.
Like I said, and I guess
I did.
it's not the fact that Houston won; it's the fact that they destroyed them when it was all said and done. Like I said, and I guess that's one where that turnover thing comes into play. What
Hmm.
do you have? 4 turnovers? You can't do that.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
yeah. But you know what? This is Harbaugh first season.
Hmm.
You know, I think in year 3, the Chargers are going to be scary.
Well, I think so too. Like I said,
No, no,
he's
no
too good
doubt
of a
about it.
coach. He's too
Yeah,
good of
yeah,
a
yeah.
coach.
He's got to get what he needs. Let me see. Yeah, I'm happy that Green Bay lost, man. I'm so excited about that.
You know what was kind of weird about that though? It was another week where I was actually kind of rooting for Green Bay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, that's twice this year, but I was kind of rooting for them just because I thought we would destroy them. And like I said, if Green Bay won, that's who we would fight. That's who we'd be facing this week. And I was like, oh, we'll destroy Green Bay. So I was kind of hoping that they win, but yeah, somebody somebody showed me one of those Scooby Doo memes. You know what I mean? I'm talking about where they show like a person with a mask on. They're like, let's see who it really is, and they pull the mask off of them, and they had a picture of Jordan Love, and they took his mask off, and it was Dak Prescott.
Oh, damn. Minnesota did score a touchdown in that game. They
Did they?
did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They just missed the 2-point
Oh, is
conversion.
that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
because it was 31-9 or something like that. I thought, oh, did they not get one? Gotcha.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Speaking of Dak Prescott, have you seen some of the rumors going around the Cowboys right now?
What I've seen is potentially Jerry Jones going after primetime Deion Sanders.
Which means that they would want to get Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
So I was reading all these proposals. Oh, they trade Dak Prescott and something for the first pick to the
I mean,
Titans.
yeah, Dak Prescott is deep fried now, man. He done. I mean, he deep fried, man. You don't want there's no way a new coach is going to go in there having a plan for Dak Prescott, not at this stage of it in his career. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
Um,
but
It just depends on.
how does Dallas go about getting Shador Sanders?
That's the $1 million question right there. Where do they fall in the draft? Do you know?
I mean, they're like somewhere like middle, somewhere in the middle, 12, 11, something like that.
They would definitely have to trade up to get them.
Absolutely. And like I said, and depending on which draft board you look at, some people have Shador at number one, some people don't have him at number one. I had even heard them say that some GMs don't even have him listed in as a first round grade, which that surprised me.
So who has the number one pick?
Tennessee.
Well, Dion did step up and say he will intervene if the wrong team try to draft his son.
Hmm.
He absolutely said it, and I said, "Wow." So he said, "At certain teams, he will not let his son play for."
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard
So,
that too.
and we've seen this before. John Elway controlled where he went. Eli Manning
Eli
and
Manning.
his family controlled where he went. They didn't want him to go. The Chargers was up to draft him actually, and they
Hmm.
said no
They did draft him. If you remember, they did draft him and then they traded him to the
to the
Giants.
Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you can tell 12, 13 teams no.
Right. Right. Like I
But
said,
at the same time, I don't know if I would. If a player don't want to come and play for me, I don't want to draft him no way. I mean, you drafting problems at that point.
I don't know if he's going to be an elite NFL quarterback, to be honest with you. I think he can be a decent quarterback. I think he can start, but I just when I watched him in some of those big games against good teams, like I said, he didn't stand out to me. Is he a talented kid? Yes, but like you said, NFL is a whole different beast.
It is. It is. I feel the same way about Shiloh too. He try to be cute a lot. Fancy like his dad, but he don't play exactly like his
Right.
dad.
I noticed that I had seen him get an interception or something like that, and he was doing the carry the ball with the hand and the high
Yeah.
steps and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm 50-50 on it. I think it can go either way, but he's going to have to have some good coaching for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I know you're a big fan of Dion, but is he
Hmm.
really a good coach?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, on the college level, I believe he's an excellent coach. He just doesn't have everything that he needs in the trenches, with the line, but he gets kids to buy in, man, and that's to me that's what it's all about. It's just it's gonna take some time in the NFL.
yeah,
It's really gonna take some time, but I think he is a good coach. It remains to be seen what he can do in the NFL.
yeah. I don't know that he is a good coach myself. Like I said, I mean, what he did at Jackson State was impressive, but I mean, he brought his son, who was a five-star recruit. He brought Travis Hunter, who was the number one recruit in the nation. And those are smaller schools. And then when he came to Colorado, he brought those guys with him. But then all those people that he got in the transfer portal who wanted to play for him, they wanted that limelight. And he did a. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to take away what he did at Colorado because Colorado stunk before he got there. But
Hmm.
they didn't do great in the first year. I mean, they got the one win early in the season. They were on the
The
hype train, but then they lost like 7 or 8
TCU.
in a row. But then, I mean, last year they didn't beat a good team all year. They did. The record was a lot better than it has. So I mean, like I said, I don't want to take anything away from him. Like I said, I don't know that in the NFL if he'll have that allure of people wanting to come play for him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, we shall see. This is going to be a very interesting offseason. With the coaching carousel.
Who are the Bears going to get?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they doing all these unnecessary interviews.
Which ones are unnecessary?
Glad you asked. I mean, they interviewing people we haven't even heard of, and I'm like, man, what are you guys doing? But they bringing in McCarthy today.
Yeah. Do you not like him?
I don't know. I don't know. I think a guy like McCarthy needs to sit for a year, kind of
Yeah,
like what Sean Payton did. I don't know if I want him right away like that. Man, I had all of those names pulled up and now I can't find it. But
they interviewed Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. I heard.
yeah, they interviewed both of those. Those weren't unnecessary in my opinion. I want Ben Johnson, but they interviewed the Giants offensive coordinator. They interviewed, I think, the Jets offensive coordinator. I'm like, where are y'all getting these people from?
Yeah,
And
because it's not like the Jets and the Giants offense lit it up.
it really, really, really pissed me off. So I'm just like, man, it's like, dude, you gonna get McCarthy, you gonna get Ben Johnson. They brought in Pete Carroll. I don't know if that was smoke and mirrors or not. David Shaw. Who is David Shaw?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't place who it is.
You know what? That's Stanford's old head coach.
Oh, that took over for Harbaugh, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I know who he is on. Yeah,
Yep. Uh Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Ron Rivera, Mike Kafka. That's the offensive coordinator for the Giants. Anthony Weaver looked like he did something in Miami. I don't know. Drew Petzing.
yeah. Don't know.
These are from the Eberflus list. We didn't know who Eberflus was when they hired him.
Right, right.
Yeah, so that's just a few that they interviewed that I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? Are you kidding me right now?
I heard, and I think I told you this before, that they're interested in interviewing the Notre Dame coach, Freeman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't
What do you
think
think of
that's
that?
no. I want NFL experience. I don't want nobody coming from college. Ben Johnson is the only coach that I would hire that has not been a head coach before. I want somebody that's already been a head coach and know what the hell they doing.
I'm hearing that the Raiders are going all in on Ben Johnson. I've been hearing those rumors a lot lately.
Can you blame them?
They said Tom Brady loves him, and I do remember Tom Brady. He was commentating on one of their games for it. He was talking about how fun it would have been to play for a coach like Ben Johnson. So he likes him, and apparently they're ready to do whatever he wants. Pull in some other front office people for him. I heard they're willing to lay out everything for him.
That's what we should be doing. We've
And
already interviewed them, and I think we can bring them in for a second interview on Monday or Tuesday, something like that, because the game is Saturday, correct?
Saturday at 8, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, um, I don't think the Bears should hesitate on hiring this guy. I really don't.
It was funny because I actually still saw some stuff that said that he's not necessarily guaranteed to leave Detroit. I think if they win the Super Bowl, I think he's definitely gone. But if you remember last year, they'd all but announced him as the Washington head coach, and then also in his last minute, he's returning to Detroit. Said he had unfinished business, so he could be a different type of guy too. Like I said, I would love to see him stay, but I
I
just I
don't.
just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't see that. Not no, not after this season. But I hope we get him. If I don't know who the next best guy, Mike Vrabel is already gone.
Yeah,
Everybody knew he was going to New England.
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Ron Rivera either. I mean, he's an ex-Bear. That's the great thing about that.
Hmm.
Ex-player for the Bears. He was the defensive coordinator when we went to the Super Bowl and lost to Peyton Manning. I'm sorry about that. My phone rang. Yeah, he was our defensive coordinator when we went to the Super Bowl. So those are the perks about that. He know the Bear history and understands what it means to be a coach and to beat Green Bay. So, which leads me to that. I was pretty doggone excited, man. I was screaming, I was jumping up and down, and I was so happy,
Yeah.
man, to beat Green Bay, man. That was my Super Bowl. That was my one game playoff, and it happened in Green Bay. Man, I was ecstatic, man.
Yeah,
Man,
I was thinking about you.
man, that was all I needed. I needed that win. I needed it. I don't care how it messed up our draft status. I didn't care about none of that.
How bad did it mess up the draft status? Did it really affect it that much?
I don't think so. Maybe 2 or 3 picks. It's so many bad teams this year.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
man.
Well, I tell you what, that night I went to, I don't know if you saw my post, but we went to the Detroit Minnesota game.
I did. I did. I seen that.
My boys are spoiled. That was their first ever Lions game, and that energy that was there was unbelievable. I mean, I feel bad that I know that they're probably not going to go to another Lions game that's going to have that type of energy and buzz that was in that place. It was insane, but it was cool. It was cool, and the fact that they won, and it was a close game too. I mean, I think they actually started. They kind of pulled away in the fourth quarter, but in the fourth, going into the fourth quarter, I think it was still a one-score game. And Minnesota had moved the ball. They kept getting inside the 20-yard line. We would stop them. But yeah, the buzz and the energy there was amazing. Was absolutely amazing. So I imagine there's going to be that kind of energy there this week as well.
Yeah, I don't think y'all going nowhere for a minute though, honestly. I think Dan Campbell will have something. I think he has a plan B if Ben Johnson leaves.
Yeah. Well, you got to. I mean, he had to have known that it was an issue last year that the possibility came. So I mean, nobody knew who Ben Johnson was before he came around too. There's lots of people out there like that. You just got to find the right one.
Yeah, well, if we had a lost that game, we would be right around between 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we went from that to 10 because we would have only won 4 games. So it's the Raiders at 6, Jacksonville at 5, New England at 4. All of them only won 4 games, so we would have been somewhere up in there. So yeah, we lost some picks
You said
winning
the
that
Raiders are
game.
at 6.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about the Raiders is I've also heard some buzz that they're interested in Shador Sanders.
I heard that. I did hear that. That would be interesting. They need a coach. They need a quarterback.
Hmm.
Tennessee needs a quarterback.
You don't think Will
Cleve,
Levis is there?
nah.
No, he's a bum. He's a bum.
Cleveland, they need a quarterback.
Mm.
The Giants needs a quarterback. New England is set at quarterback. Jacksonville, what do you think of that? Trevor Lawrence.
I think they're fine with Trevor Lawrence. I don't think they're looking.
Okay. So we know Dion not gonna let him go to Tennessee, Cleveland, or New York. It's not gonna happen.
I could see him letting him go to New York.
You think so?
Yeah, big market like that. I can see that.
I don't think Dion will coach the Giants though. I don't even know if they will offer the Dion a
So you're
Di-
going you're going with the philosophy that Dion has to go somewhere for him to
because
Shador to.
he said that he would love to coach his sons, and he put an emphasis on that sons. So no, and they keeping Brian Daboll, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They decided to keep their coach, so I'm not going there. And he hates the cold. He's not gonna go. Well, he went to Colorado, but I think he can control more of what he does in the NFL. I think Dallas is his landing spot, either there or the Raiders.
Yeah, yeah. I can see either one of those teams. I can see either one of those teams. That's interesting. Who do you?
And
Oh, go ahead.
the Mike Tomlin news too. They there's a lot of buzz about him getting traded, but old Shefty said he doesn't see the Pittsburgh Steelers doing that. But you never know.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I mean, he always has solid teams, but they did bring up that he hasn't won a playoff game in quite a while. He keeps making it to the playoffs, but he hasn't. I mean, they haven't had a losing record in forever. But yeah, but I mean, teams want to win. I mean, so I don't know. He's a good coach. Like I said, I had read something that said that there are numerous teams that would fire their head coach right now if Tomlin became available. That's a
Absolutely.
and that's a wild statement.
Yeah, I would take Mike Tomlin too in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win this weekend?
I'm going with Detroit.
Are you? Because I saw a pretty stupid post that you put on your Facebook feed this recently.
I didn't know I was going to hurt people's feelings like that when I said it. I wasn't even thinking about it wasn't a diss to Detroit. I wasn't even thinking about Detroit. I was just thinking like, wow, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. It just sounded like an interesting matchup to me. So I was just like, man, this would be a good Super Bowl. Then I started seeing the comments and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
You know,
I'm sorry.
it was pretty stupid.
I'm
Like I said, I didn't even want. I saw Khalid responded to it, and I was like, I ain't even gonna respond. I'm gonna call him out to his face about it.
Oh, hey, listen. You hearing it out my mouth right now. I will not be mad if the Detroit Lions win it all.
All right, all
I mean,
right.
they've never I'm serious. They've never even been to the Super Bowl. Just them getting to the Super Bowl is going to be. And when I
Insane.
was in Michigan this weekend, and I lived there for quite some time. I was there for years. I'd never seen that many people wearing Lions paraphernalia ever in my life.
Yeah,
Everywhere you turn, I said, man, y'all like the Lions? Now you like them?
it's got to be one of the most loyal fan bases ever.
Yeah, everywhere. I said, oh man, I said, yeah, they are on a high up here in this mitten. They are on a high. So no, that'd be good, man. Are they the only team that's never played in the Super Bowl?
No, I thought there was one other team, but I could be wrong.
I think they the only team that's never played. And
I
that's
thought
that's crazy.
that is crazy because they're one of the older teams too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm well, unless you talk about the expansion, the Texans that's the old Houston Oilers. Did the Oilers ever play in the Super Bowl?
I don't know, but I
I
thought that's what I
I
read. I thought it was one of the expansion teams hadn't been there. I didn't remember if they said it was Houston or Jacksonville. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
hope
even
so.
Carolina went. I remember when Carolina and
Yeah.
Jacksonville came. Yeah.
So then I'm assuming you're taking Philadelphia over the Rams.
Yes, yes.
Then we got Kansas City's playing Houston.
Kansas
I
City.
think Kansas City destroys them. Well, maybe not destroy them, but I think Kansas City definitely wins that game. But the Baltimore Buffalo game,
That is so the two games I'm really looking forward to seeing is Buffalo, Baltimore, Washington, Detroit.
hmm
Those are the games for me.
yes,
The Bills and the Ravens can get very, very interesting very quickly.
yeah. Who you got?
I'm gonna stick with them, man. I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Where's it
Um,
at? Is it in Baltimore or is it in Buffalo?
it's yeah, Baltimore.
It's in Baltimore. That does make so. There's a couple things. I mean, one Baltimore in Baltimore helps Baltimore for sure, but they played earlier this season. Baltimore handled them,
Mm.
but Buffalo, like I said, I've been saying it all year. I think Buffalo is one of the best teams in the NFL. I also Lamar Jackson just has not gotten over that playoff hump yet. I'm going to take Buffalo.
You're gonna take Buffalo.
I'm going to
Okay.
take Buffalo. Who's the MVP this season though? Is it Lamar or is it Josh Allen?
Man, I honestly, man, I think it's Saquon Barkley.
Well, I haven't even really heard his name mentioned. It's
I
been
would
between those two, and then there was some buzz about Joe Burrow as well. But I don't think you can put somebody in contention that didn't make the playoffs.
right, right,
But
right.
yeah, I can get behind the Saquon Barkley vote. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's I mean, what he did this year, I mean, he could have broke the record, you know.
I that week I know we hadn't did an episode since then, but I'm glad you brought that up because there's a couple things about records that had bothered me, not just that one, but the college record one as well. But I guess we'll start with the Saquon Barkley one. If he would have played that last game, I think he would have broke it. but I have an issue that it's would have been one extra game. You know what I mean?
That's true.
When Eric Dickerson did it, they only played 16 games, and so I get it. They're. I mean, they say most rushing yards in a season, so I mean they expand the season, so it's not like it's a lie, but it's not as impressive to me
I feel you.
because, like I said, after 16 games, he has less yards than Eric Dickerson had in his 16 games for that season. So that one bothered me a little bit too. But so in the college football one, that Ashton Giante or whatever his name is, you know what I'm talking about from Boise State.
Yes. Yep.
So he could there was some talk about he was so many yards away he could have broke Barry Sanders' record, right?
Hmm.
What's so crazy and that one this is the one that really pissed me off as they were talking about it was that back then they didn't count bowl games. So like when Barry Sanders played, the what yards he got in bowl game that season, they don't count towards that season. And
Okay.
not only did they count, now they do though. So if Ashton Gianti would have got it, it would have been in the bowl game, but not to mention conference championships, things like that. If Gianti would have broke it, he would have done it in 4 more fucking games. To me, that's just absurd to even talk about. Oh, best college running back season ever, and it's like not even close.
Right.
Not even close. So that was irritating me. And it's funny because I don't know why it's irritating me when it didn't irritate Barry Sanders because Barry Sanders was before the game saying, "All right, let's go make history," which I love Barry Sanders. That's just how he is. Because like I know with the Eric Dickerson thing, when they were talking to Eric Dickerson about whether or not Saquon Barkley was going to break it, he was like, "No, I don't want him to break it." But Barry Sanders was like, "Let's go, let's do this."
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's awesome that Barry Sanders would be like that." But 4 extra games, come on, that's
Yeah, that's
silly.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'm glad you brought that up. So, in my mind, Saquon wouldn't have broke the record. I agree with you. He wouldn't have broke it. Yeah. Yeah. He should have been trying to break it this last game, but to each his own. They got to have something to talk about.
Well,
You know.
it's funner. It's better for the league. It's better for the media outlets to say a record's broke. It gets all the news. It gets all the plays and stuff like that. So they're always encouraging records to be broke. So I mean, I get it, but like I said, as a I guess as a realist or a truist to the sport, and it's like, and I get it.
Hmm.
Records are supposed to be broke. They're made to be broke, but I mean, I want it to be real. That just doesn't feel real to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 But it looked like Saquon was done when he was in New York.
He did.
He was battling injuries, and he just couldn't get it going, man. And I was just like, man, this guy is I think he's done. But when he got to Philly and for him to do what he did, I was just like, man, it was amazing watching what he
And
did.
Philly's got an excellent offensive line too. That's what they were talking about. I mean, yeah, he led the league in yards, but it was also he led the league, and it was the average time before he got touched even was 2.5 yards. And that's what they were kind of talking about in the game that you get somebody like Saquon Barkley who's that big, who's that fast, and you give him that much of a head start. I mean, he's already lining up 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and so if he's not getting touched till 2.5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, he's already had a full 7 yards to gain all his speed. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so I mean, I imagine he's at Philly, he didn't see these kind of holes or blocking that in New York that he's seeing now too. But he's a phenomenal back. He's a phenomenal running.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't want to take anything away from him, but he's fantastic.
Okay. Well, if it's not Barkley, man, this is tough, man. Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
Here's what I'm saying. I think it still should be Lamar Jackson. Like I said, I would. They're not supposed to take what happens in the playoffs into account. Like I said, so like the whole he's never won a big playoff game, and even if he doesn't win this one, that's not going to matter. Like it's not going to be who wins this game gets to be the MVP. It's supposed to be decided before that. So his numbers are better in every aspect. They had the higher seed. I mean, so to me, if you just look at a numbers and record standpoint, it should be him. But I also see voters get bored too. You know, he's won a couple already. You know, I've seen that happen with other stars where it's like, let's give it to this other one.
It seemed like Josh has did, he did it with less though.
And yeah, I have heard that. Like I said, that what he's done, he's more important to his team than Lamar is. Like I said, you look at Josh Allen's roster, he doesn't really have anybody else on that team. Whereas, I mean, Lamar has Derrick Henry, who's an all-pro, first-team all-pro running back too. So I get that too. I hope Josh wins it. I'm a big Josh Allen fan. But if the all-pro voting is any indication, it seems like it's going to go to Lamar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'd like to see Josh Allen get it. To me, he's a good guy in football.
It's gonna be interesting. When does that get announced?
I'm not sure when it gets announced.
It's gotta be here soon.
You would think so. You would think so. When was the last time a non-quarterback won it? It's been a while. I mean, I
That's
can't
a
even
good
think.
question.
It's been a long time. I mean, it's almost like they should just start naming it the most valuable quarterback. You know, kind of like the Heisman has turned into almost.
Right, right. Oh man, that's a good question. I can't remember the last time a running back won an MVP.
I mean, was it? I mean, the last one I can think of is Barry Sanders, but it seems like somebody had to have won it since Barry Sanders. But maybe not. I don't know.
Did
Did Mar-
Jamal Lewis win it?
I don't think Jamal Lewis. Did Marshall Falk win it? Marshall Falk might have won. I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Only reason I mentioned Jamal Lewis because I remember he got the 2,000 yards.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Adrian Peterson,
Adrian Peterson. Okay. Yeah.
2012.
So it's been a while. He was a good running back.
Man, how many does Aaron Rodgers got? He won it again in 2011. Oh my goodness.
He's got a bunch. He's got a bunch.
And Peyton Manning has a bunch.
Yeah.
So even LaDainian Tomlinson was the last one before Adrian Peterson, and that was 06.
Jeez. So 2 in the last almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Sean Alexander 05. LaDainian Tomlinson 06. Adrian Peterson 2012.
Interesting. Well, what do you think of this college football championship game?
Go Irish! I'm
Do you
pulling
think?
for Notre Dame all the way.
Well, I'm definitely pulling for them, but do you think they have a shot?
I do.
Yeah,
I think
I
they
hope so.
really got a shot.
I hope so.
But somehow, some way, I hope the Bears draft Jack Sawyer. I'm not even gonna hold you up on that one. That dude is a stud.
He's a punk. He's a punk.
Man, you gotta give him credit, man. That's a good player, man. I know it's Ohio State, but trust me, I'm not pulling for him.
Hey, did you see the sweatshirt my wife got me for Christmas?
I did not. Yeah, I love it. Can
Isn't
you
that
send me
sweet?
one? Can you send me one?
I'll see if I can get her one. I've got so many compliments on it, but
Oh, man.
no, I think it's going to be. I hope it's a good game. But yes, it's. I am definitely rooting for Ohio State to lose. I don't want to say I'm rooting for Notre Dame to win, if that makes sense, because I don't like either one of them. It's kind of
Well,
a bad deal for a Michigan fan, to be honest with you.
everybody down here is blaming Michigan for Ohio State's success right now.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know, somebody had said that. I remember right after it happened that they had said that they thought that that was going to kickstart them to the national championship,
Yeah.
and it's like, ooh, it kind of has.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah,
looked good.
y'all should be proud because everybody down here knows I'm a Michigan fan.
Hmm.
I rep them. pretty hard. So they blaming me, us. Yeah. But I'm excited. I know I know we're a ways away from this, but I'm so excited for Michigan football next season. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I am too. I was talking about that with a friend. It was a down year, obviously, but how the season kind of ended. I mean, when it's all said and done, we beat Michigan State, which we should have, but still, you beat your
Hmm.
one rival. You beat Ohio State on the road when 20-point underdogs. Huge. You go to a bowl game, you beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Huge. You get the number one quarterback in the country. You have a good transfer portal. You got good recruits coming in. Oof. I mean, yeah, it was a good way to end the year for it being a down year. So, like I said, I think everybody in Michigan is excited. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day though. I saw the post the other day where it was talking about this is back to back years where the national championship is two northern teams, right? I mean, Ohio State, Notre Dame last year, Michigan, Washington, no SEC teams, things like that.
That's what I was going into next. Yeah.
Well, so I was talking to a guy at work the other day, um, and he was talking about how yeah, it's all kind of shifting, all kind of shifting, all kind of shifting. And what he kind of brought up, I don't know how true this is, but he had said, the SEC has always paid players. They've always paid players, but usually it's the under the table, car dealership, people that own car dealerships, people that own chain restaurants, things like that. Now that NIL is legal, these schools that are up north, he said nothing against the SEC, but the SEC schools don't tend to have high academics, recruit or donors, things like that, where it's like these northern schools, the Michigans, the Notre Dames, the Ohio States, the USCs, the UCLAs, things like that, have huge alumni, just and big money alumni. To where now that
Yeah.
it's legal, the SEC's teams ain't going to be able to compete money wise with what the big legal donors can do. And that's why you're seeing the shift. That's why you're seeing people leave Alabama. You're seeing people leave Georgia. You're seeing people leave these SEC teams because other schools are just paying them more money now. And the northern teams can pay them more money because they're more highly academic. You get CEOs and people like that are the donors for those schools, and now it's legal. And that's what they said. That's why you got Saban left. That's why some of the other people, because they knew that this NIL thing was going to open it up for these other schools, and they just can't compete money wise now that it's legal. And so
S-
somebody was bringing up that there's this big lawsuit going on with the NCAA right now, and it's already been ruled like they're going to give every school is going to get $20 million a year for like the next 10 years. Every school in the NCAA, it's like a lawsuit for the NIL thing. And
mhm.
that's what they said that the SEC schools are trying to push right now, that make that the limit. Each school can only have 20 million NIL. Every school, every school, every school, every school, every school.
So just trying to make it an even playing field.
Try to make it even again because these bigger schools are just going to be able to pay more.
So do you think this is the death of the SEC or what?
I hope so. I hope so.
They don't give any credit at all to the Big Ten. I
No.
mean, none whatsoever. It's to the point. I mean, they make you hate the SEC.
Yeah. So that's what my buddy was saying. He was saying the only SEC schools, or the only he didn't say SEC, the only schools down there that can compete money wise. They said Texas A&M. They said Texas A&M has a huge. It's an academic school. It has rich alumni. He said they can qualify. They said Texas has tons of money. Texas can do it. And then they said Miami. They said Miami Hurricanes have tons of money from alumni. But all those other schools, some of those traditional powerhouses like the Georgias and the Alabamas, Tennessee, all those, they're not going to be able to pay what these other schools are going to be able to pay.
Yeah,
Like I said, I hate the NIL. I'm not a big fan of the NIL. I'm not a big fan of the transfer portal. I think
I'm
I
not
mean,
either.
to me, it's just, now it's pro football again. I mean, with no salary cap. I mean, I just, you know what I mean? I don't like that. Yeah, I think it takes away the competition of not just the schools, but of the players themselves. You get these high star recruits that are divas, and they come and they don't win the starting job. Instead of working for it and saying, "Okay, I got to get better. All right, I'm leaving. I'm going to a different school." And there's no they get to play the very next season, and somebody else pays them, and I hate it. I hate it. I wish there would be some type of cap on it myself, and I wish that they would have. I wish it would go back to that. If you transfer, you have to sit out a season type thing too.
Oh, wow, yeah, you going all the way old school with it.
Yeah, like I said, I have no problem with players getting paid. I think they deserve it. I mean, NCAA and the colleges have made billions of dollars off these kids. I have no problem with them getting paid. I just think the whole as much as you want and if you don't like it, you go to a different school. I think that is ruining college football.
I concur. You ain't got no argument for me on that. Um,
Well, that was
it's
boring.
no, I'm serious, man. I don't think you say you don't have a problem with them getting paid. I understand that, but giving a 17, 18-year-old kid, man, all these millions of dollars, I just I guess I'm just jealous, man. I just wish I knew how to throw a football or,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I,
Well, like I said, I don't think they should be getting the millions. Like I said, I think that's where it's going to start getting sloppy. Like I said, I love that we got Bryce Underwood, but Bryce Underwood getting a $12 million deal without having thrown a college football. To me, that's going to set up other bad things, and then all these other recruits, and the recruits disagree with who should be number one. You know what I mean? So the number two guy is going to be like, I actually think I'm better than him, and I should get 12 million. I mean, and I think it's going to set up all that kind of stuff. I mean, did you see that Carson Beck is about to get $4 million to go to Miami?
yeah,
He's so he's
ridiculous.
so he and I don't even think he's that great of a quarterback. But he's going to get more than several some starting NFL quarterbacks. He's going to making more money this year as some starting NFL quarterbacks.
Now that's insane.
I agree.
How is a college quarterback making more than an NFL quarterback?
Yeah, because there's no regulations on any of the NIL. So it's like Miami has it, we're going to do it. We're going to pay it. We want them, and that's what you're starting to see. You're starting to see these quarterbacks play somewhere, and then the next year they go somewhere else for a little bit more money. And the quarterbacks that maybe aren't guaranteed to be that number one or number two quarterback taken, they're just going to go transfer somewhere and make more than they would have made in the NFL. Like I said, I'm anxious to see where Quinn Ewers goes because I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be a.
Oh, he just declared for the draft today.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he would have made way more money if he would have went to like Oregon or something like that. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Probably not
So
a good decision. Probably not a good business decision, but we'll see.
yeah, well, he knows that it was either transfer or go to the draft because they ready for Archie Manning.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. I thought that he was going to transfer somewhere. I thought he was going to go to like an Oregon or one of these schools that are losing their quarterback. That's a good team. Go there, try to win a championship, and get $4 or $5 million to do it. So that's what I expected to happen. I wonder where he'll go in the draft. He's not a bad quarterback, but I don't see him being a future NFL star.
I bet you he go top 10.
He could, because there's so many teams that need a quarterback, like we were just saying.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Easy.
Yeah, interesting,
I don't
interesting.
know what other quarterback is coming out.
Yeah, I mean, the only ones that I've heard, like I said, I hadn't heard Quinn Ewers until you just said it, but the only ones I had heard were Shador and Cam Ward. Is it Cam Ward, the Miami quarterback? I think it was Cam
Yeah.
Ward. I mean, those are
So
the
that
two that
that
I've been
that
hearing.
explains why Beck is going there. Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and his girlfriend goes there. That Haley Cavender. Have you ever seen those Cavender twins?
No, man.
Oh, so there's these two they're girl basketball players that play college basketball. They're gorgeous. But they're on TikTok all the time doing dances and things like that. But they're basketball players. But I think they go to University of Miami and play basketball. And I think Carson Beck's girlfriend is one of those Cavender twins. And like I said, they're not great basketball players. They're good. I mean, obviously they're playing for a Division I college, but they make a ton of money off of their own NIL and Instagram and TikToks and stuff like that because they're doing kind of like that gymnastics girl from LSU who makes a ton of money basically for being pretty and TikToking.
TikToking.
No, I wish I was pretty in TikTok.
Oh, man. All right, man. We got anything else?
No, I got basketball practice to go to myself, but
Okay.
so I'm excited for the football games. We didn't even get to talk about my Pistons, but I'm excited about my Pistons right now. But
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
just focus on football right now.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I
getting to
like the
crunch time.
Pistons hat that you got on.
I just got it. Just got it in the mail today. It's sharp, ain't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. That's nice. That's nice. Well, as always, continue to check us out. Continue to like, subscribe, share, do all of the above. Follow us on all platforms, and I mean all platforms. We got some exciting football coming up this weekend. We will dive into it on our next episode. Let's see what I got. The Eagles. We got Baltimore. I got Baltimore. You got Buffalo.
Both have Detroit. Both have
And
Kansas
both have
City.
Detroit and Kansas City. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I hope it ain't no upsets.
Yep. Go Lions. Go Lions.
Go, I'm gonna say it, man. Go Lions.
I'm gonna say go Notre Dame too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
Yeah,
say go
go
Lions.
Notre Dame. Yeah. Notre Dame fighting Irish and Lions.
All right. All right. Well, until next time, guys. Thanks for
All
checking
right.
in.